episode 68. I don't have my notes pulled up yet, so I was like, wait, what episode is it? No, it's 68.
No, it's not.
This is Lego, and I'm here with Hove and Triton, and we've got our special guest from Resolute, HisFury, with us today. Fury, how's it going, man? Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me back. I just got off work a little while ago, so things are chill right now.
Nice. How's your week been? How have things been going?
It's actually not too bad. I got a lot of the stuff I wanted. Masterwork so far this week. Ooh. And I've been playing other games, so can't complain.
Nice. What other games are you playing?
Fortnite, because it's fun.
Dude, I need to try it, man. I've been playing so much like PUBG, and I feel like every time I open my PlayStation list, and especially if I'm on Destiny, I'm like, who can I play with? Who's online? And then I see like half the people are playing Fortnite, and I'm like, I kind of just want to try it, you know?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun once you get used to it. Like, I was intimidated at first because I didn't know like what to do or like how to build because I never played Fortnite. But after like the awkward like first day where I learned to build, I'm still a potato, but it's a ton of fun to play.
Yeah. Well, Hove, how's your week going, man?
Pretty good. I went the other day. Briar was streaming, and they were looking for another person to do the raid with. And so I was in chat, and they were like, "Oh, Hove, come play." And I was like, "I can't." This was on PC. I was like, "I'm not high enough light."
I know where this is going.
So Wilson was like, "Oh, come on, man. Really, what light are you?" Like thinking I was like just being a dick, and I was like 230, and he was like, "Oh, okay." So after they light level shamed me incessantly for a little bit, I began crying, and I cried for 12 straight hours while grinding up to 295 or so.
I saw that.
So yeah, I'm ready to go on PC. I did that, got all my weekly stuff done there. Been playing on console, and I know it's probably the opposite of a lot of people, but I've started playing more and really enjoying it lately. So I played a lot of Destiny this week. Weird,
so I got a question for you after playing, because you went back and had to kind of force yourself to grind PC, but at the beginning of all this, like way back when, the beta came out and the game came out, like everyone, even me, like I was like, man, PC feels so smooth and stuff like that. And we kind of just gradually went back to playing console, a lot of us. And I was wondering, like, how is that for you right now between the two? Why do you still feel that PC feels smoother and better?
Oh, yeah.
But do you feel like you still play console more too? And like, is that the reasoning still the same and everything?
Friends, I don't think I've played any except for today. Whenever I jumped on for like 4 games with Briar. Other than that, yeah, it's just been by me on PC.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't other people on, but the few times I've jumped on, it's just like, okay, I'm going to jump on and grind.
To be fair, you're always on when I'm not on.
I plan it. I plan it like that. I am on at night. You're just time zones behind.
No, it's only the last couple of days you've been popping up on there.
That's true. But yeah, no, friends. I mean, most of the time, it's just easier for a bunch of us to get on and play on console. I think the game itself is still better on PC. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at just the numbers in general, there aren't many people playing on PC right now.
No.
Yeah.
It's approximately 12.
Right. Triton, how about you? How's your week, man?
It's been a solid week. I think last time we talked, last week I mentioned that, I kind of take the beginning of the year to assess a lot of different things. So this week has been pretty busy for me, trying to pursue potential employment opportunities. Always try to kind of put myself back out there every year just to see, if there's other people willing to invest in me, kind of projects I want to stand up and initiatives I want to achieve professionally. So kind of in the final interview process for a lot of things, which has been a big part of my week. Just fortunate to be in that position to be able to make those decisions. Destiny wise though, I think kind of relieve that and counterbalance having to go through that consistently is I played a ton of Destiny this week. I wanted to get the most out of the Dawning that I could before it was done.
Yeah.
So I jumped back in Sunday, Monday, tried to get some of those gifts turned in, played a ton of Mayhem, did the heroic strikes, tried to do the Nightfalls, flashpoints, all of that stuff. So and really enjoyed that experience for the most part. And definitely I'm going to miss Mayhem, but did try to get as many games of that in as possible. And I was able to do a lot of that by myself. So there was some friends on, but I happened to have Monday off as well. So there wasn't as many people on, but found that the solo grind wasn't too bad, especially if you're playing Mayhem. So that was fun. And yeah, that's been pretty much my week.
Dude, Mayhem was really fun. And speaking of Mayhem, that's how my week's been, because we just won Movie of the Week, which was crazy. I could not believe that a video that I put out that I was just thinking about, like last week whenever we were doing the podcast, I was talking about Mayhem and how fun it was. And I was like, as I was describing the fun that I was having in it, I was thinking of a scene I was editing, like just before the show, of like a moment that I was specifically thinking of, that I was like, oh, this moment is so cool, the way like all these things are happening at once. And then that movie wins Movie of the Week this week, which is amazing. And I just want to thank everyone who shared that on Twitter after I posted it. It was so
definitely amazing,
awesome.
Lego. I think you're in that point though, like that Zoolander, the beginning of Zoolander, when he's won like male mod of the year 3 times. Like you've won 3 times. So you're like, so surprising. I know that's your character. Obviously, congrats.
Listen,
but I mean, at this point, like you've won this.
I'm actually very disappointed in Lego right now.
What?
Oh, okay.
We haven't even gotten the chance to speak to our guest yet, and you're already plugging your Movie of the Week win.
That's how my week's been. It was consumed with making that video.
It's about Lego, guys.
Yeah, no, this whole podcast, let's just call it LegoCast.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, you'll get your turn, Hovecast.
Dongcast
coming up soon. So.
March 8th.
No, I do.
You know
I do want to tell you.
Yeah, to the date.
Is that the date?
It's March 8th.
Counting down.
I know. I do just want to tell you. Ooh, that could possibly be like right around season 3. It'd be a really big episode.
Today, yeah.
You guys would be like, "Oh, we have so much to talk about." I'm like, "Nope, fuck you. It's Dongcast. We talk about what I want." Real quick, I did think it was really funny. Did you see DMG's tweet?
Yeah.
So someone tweeted the Lego today on his original tweet about his montage. And they were like, oh, this is great, and blah, blah, blah. And then hashtag Movie of the Week. And Lego was like, yeah, I hope so. I know that, and he tagged Cosmo and DMG and was like, I know they're really busy, with everything going on, but it'd be really cool if they got a chance to look at this. And that was like, way before this. And like 15 minutes after the TWAB came out and he won, DMG replied to that tweet and said, what? Like,
and just what? Question mark.
Yeah.
That's it.
I thought that was great. I was like, I love this.
His response was fantastic. That
so
was
Fury,
awesome.
now that Lego has stopped hogging all of the spotlight with his 7th world record-breaking 7th win.
The numbers are going to get exaggerated every time. The 1,000th.
Lego's won every Movie of the Week there's ever been.
This is not true. But for real, Hove's on the right track here. We do want to talk with HisFury because it has been quite a while since he's been on. I think last time you were on, we talked about the event. What?
It was the reveal.
It was the reveal, yeah. And you went out to the reveal, and you've had some time with Destiny 2 now. So let's, I want to talk about all these notes that we just got that are insane and so in depth. But before we do that, I just want to get to know where you're at with the game, like how it was for you at launch and kind of how it's been for you since.
Well, for launch, it was great. Like everyone had that honeymoon period, like for the first 2-3 weeks. It was great for everybody because, everyone's like, yes, this is what we wanted. And then about week 4, it started to dry up really quick, and everyone noticed too. So it was kind of like, okay, and we're here now because all right, we're thinking, well, they have PC launch next month, so they're going to take it low, and then nothing really changed. Then we got faction rallies, and then we got the dawning, and those are the most recent things. So it's like it hasn't really been too fulfilling after that. But as I said, I love where the game's at. There's just things that are missing from it that could make it a lot better.
Yeah. So what in D2? I'll just phrase it this way because I like asking everyone this question who has been on the show before but not since Destiny 2 has come out, just to kind of see the positive side of D2 for them. What has been your favorite thing about Destiny 2 since launch?
My favorite thing about Destiny 2 since launch? I don't know. I just think just the whole world, the traveling, the directory. I think that's great, being able to access wherever you are and just jump directly to it.
Yeah.
That's been great. Being able to kind of keep track of what your clan is doing as a whole. That to me was pretty cool when they actually finally launched the clan features on there.
Yeah, I'm excited for some of the new stuff in these patch notes that they've talked about for clan features as well. So, I mean, since we've got so much, we're just going to jump straight into it. Basically, the plan is I'm just going to kind of read off the list. I've kind of like paraphrased stuff, and we'll just kind of start off with I just want to start with, before I get into the list of things, more so just Christopher Barrett's just statement that he makes at the very beginning here, because it's kind of a shift in the way that Bungie's done things before. And so I want to start with that. And his statement at the beginning here is, "Hey, everyone. At the end of last year, I made a promise that I would update you on our plans for Destiny 2. The team has been hard at work, and we're ready to share where we are headed. We used to wait and talk about game updates until we were certain we could meet our deadlines to avoid letting players down if we changed our plans. No longer. We're not just listening, we are doing. Please keep in mind that the further out we make promises, the more they are subject to change. With that caveat, here are our plans." And so I feel like, I kind of read over that real quick and jumped straight to what was changing, because that is kind of what you want to do whenever you get this update. But I think, that to know that they're going to let us know as things go, and the plans may change, but they're letting us know along the way, is a dramatic change from the way Bungie's held stuff close to their chest before and not really let you know what was going on. So I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. Did any of you guys had anything to add to that statement? Any thoughts or anything like that?
No, I think that's what we've been asking for. And we're going to be pretty happy, because those long periods of times where we hear nothing, it's brutal for everyone. It's like, we want to keep hope, we want to keep everyone happy, but when we don't get anything, it's really hard to keep rooting for the game.
Yeah.
And I'll just throw in that if you choose to read the update with that in mind, it'll probably be a better read for you. So please try to read that, or keep that in mind as you read those things. You'll probably find more enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And apologies if you hear squeaking in the background. My chair apparently needs some WD-40, and I keep hearing it squeak. And I used to podcast in a different chair, and now I started sitting in this one, and all of a sudden it's squeaking, probably because I have the swivel one, and it's getting me in trouble now because it's squeaking. But just a heads up.
Just trying to draw all the tension to yourself.
Yep, that's what I do, Hove. Get over it. Okay, so let's start with this list of things. The first thing, they got some upcoming content categories that they kind of like listed out in a really cool illustration for us here. I'm going to have it up, but I'm going to just kind of read off what it is. They've got the expansions, the seasons, and the Eververse split off into sections. The expansions are, things that we're going to pay for that we're going to get, content that is purchased. The seasons are content that's going to be available to everyone, and the Eververse is electively purchased or earned stuff. So in the expansions, they've got new campaign and strikes, new destinations, new destination rewards, new raid lair, new Crucible maps, new legendary exotic gear. But the seasons that are available to all are Iron Banner faction rallies, seasonal reputation rewards, in-game playlists, seasonal events, new features and updates, which we're going to talk about soon. And then in the Eververse, just cause customization items, boons, and emotes. And I thought it was cool that they just listed it out and like, hey, this is what's going to be in the paid stuff. This is what's the free stuff. Because it has kind of been confusing with the change to seasons.
I would say it's changed a lot. Well, even just in last week, they had a hot fix changing what was available.
Yeah, Iron Banner and faction rallies. Yeah, now being in the seasons is a big deal. And I'm excited to see the changes to those too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. The new features and updates has always been something, especially in D1, as the live event or live team changed a lot of stuff. Those were like the real big fixes to the game that I was real excited that everybody got. And to see that everybody's going to be getting those in seasons is pretty great. Also, the seasonal events I was surprised to see in seasons, which goes along with the name.
Yeah, that'd be really weird that something seasonal would be part of the seasons. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying that like the dawning is a big thing that they could save for the expansion, but it's I don't know. I just think that it's cool that to see it not just be like the rotation things like Iron Banner faction rallies and stuff like that, but actual like the dawning and the Crimson Days that are coming that we'll talk about.
Yeah. No, I think it's like they did this time though. I think it's kind of cool. It gives people, because you would think every time there's an expansion or a DLC, there's going to be around the time of a season. You know, so like this time, even if you didn't get Curse of Osiris, the Dawning came along, so it's kind of like a consolation prize, you know?
Yeah.
And you should feel like you're getting your like $60 worth or whatever it is at that point. If you're getting the new features and you're getting to be part of some of the rotational events, I kind of like how they put new in front of everything for expansions. So people understand like, hey, if you buy this, it's new. But if you don't, you really can't do that. But I mean, it's a great graphic. I like the wording in that. I know we've kind of been big on that for a few other things as Lego and I know both alluded to in some of their message. Yeah, verbiage. So it's a cool thing. So if you're only paying the base game, you do get a lot, I think. And I'm not sure how that compares to D1 or not. I was trying to recall like if you didn't buy the expansions, what you got. But it seems like you get a fair amount. I hesitate to say more, but there's part of me that thinks that in D2, just for the base, you're getting a little bit more than you would have in D1, but that may not be true. I'm not sure.
I think it's true because I don't think did you have access to Iron Banner and stuff? And
see, I think Iron Banner was something you didn't. That was the one I thought for sure you didn't. And obviously faction rallies weren't around. So
yeah. Well, cool. Just going to move on there. I don't really have any positive or negatives for any of that stuff other than what Triton just said.
I'm really happy that the first thing they touch on with changes is the first one because we haven't talked about it in so long.
Eververse, yeah. Well, real quick before I get to that, they did say that Faction Rally January 16th next week is coming, and Iron Banner January 30th. They just threw those in there before jumping into the big topics. So good to see those coming back. Eververse, though, that is the big topic that we have been nonstop talking about. Everyone has been, especially on BNet in the forums, everyone's been nonstop talking about. But I'll just list off the Eververse changes and then we can kind of talk about it. So Eververse, they realize it's tipped too far towards tests. The balance of new content is activity. So these are the changes they're putting in place. Balance of new content is activity rewards over bright engrams, including Ghost Sparrow ships. They want to provide gameplay path to earn bright engrams and contain rewards, and they want to give players more direct purchase options and give players a way to get stuff they want from engrams more often. These changes at Eververse, they start at Crimson Days February 13th and will continue to change further into Season 3. Completing Nightfall, Raid, and Crimson Day milestones will reward you with exclusive legendary emote, weapon skin, and exotic sparrow, respectively. Players earn Season 2 engram and Crimson Days engram upon level up. So you get, right now, you just get like whatever the season is when you level up, and now you'll get the special event engram as well. Crimson engrams have a chance at dropping at the end of a match now, end of a Crucible match, which is crazy awesome to me. Crimson engrams are going to be weighted towards new rewards, not just like getting the same thing over and over again. So that is a mouthful of everything. What do you guys think about all this?
I think it's what we've asked for. I mean, in turn, we kind of said a little bit before the podcast started, but it's basically being transparent. It's basically giving us variety, and it's basically giving us choice. So when you put those three things into the game, and they've done that on some level before, like when I think we've talked about adventures way long ago, and it directs you to this is what you kind of get. Some of these allude to you're going to be able to point some of your efforts in a direction in which you're going to get something more that you want. So having both choice and variety, more loot, and then telling us, here's your roadmap. All those things we've asked for to some degree. So as long as those are executed well, I'm excited for those things.
I think the biggest thing here, and it's something that I had harped on, the first sentence in there, we're shifting the balance of new content in favor of activity rewards over bright engrams. This includes adding ghost sparrows and ships to achievement reward pools. So that was the thing that like I thought was the most egregious thing they did with Eververse, was taking things away from gameplay and putting them in Eververse only. So getting those back is a big step in the right direction.
The development update is next. They've kind of given us a roadmap, starting with a January 30th update. Masterwork Armor is first up on the list. Increased damage reduction while in Super. That's what the Masterwork Armor is going to do. And then you'll be able to re-roll the armor stat type. Same roll, basically the same way you re-roll weapons now. And so my question for the Masterwork Armor, aside from what do you guys think about it, is this a complete reroll of the armor, or is this an extra stat on top of what the armor already is, kind of like what Masterwork weapons are? How do you guys read that?
I think it's gonna be an added perk, just like the way the weapons are.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would think too. Just the way that it is, like I would think that is they would kind of use the same system basically, you know. Yeah. So what do you guys think? I think that's great. Like I think we've been wanting a way to customize our armor. I kind of wish it was Masterworks let you re-roll the whole thing, but I don't think that that's the case, you know. And as far as the damage reduction while in super, that's interesting. I think that's going to be one of those things where we'll just have to play it to see how it feels, you know.
Yeah, that's the one I'm most curious about, because I think like there was an effort not to make you like super godly and supers going into Destiny 2. Yeah. But obviously you want that to be felt like, oh yeah, it matters that I just wore this Masterworks armor too. So I think there'll probably be a lot of testing around that one. So I'm interested to see kind of how that plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the orbs that you get from Masterwork weapons, those are pretty significant. Like you feel, at least in PvE, you feel those. You're like creating orbs all the time if all your stuff's Masterworks. And I don't know if like, if it like is a significant reduction while you're in your super, maybe that would help. But I don't know like how we're really gonna feel it otherwise.
The other question is, will they stack? So if you have two of the same things, can it have an extra effect, or will it not?
It'll be only if you get shot in the the waist. If you have the chest armor.
my thought would be,
this isn't PUBG. What
if that's the inherent perk that's just on all Masterworks armor? It would kind of have to stack, right?
I would think so.
Because otherwise, what's the point of getting more than one?
Yeah. That's what I would think too.
So my thought would be it's probably going to be minimal.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my thought. It'll probably be minimal. If that's the inherent perk, like creating orbs, it'll probably be minimal. It'll probably stack. Because, like I said, if it's on all of them and you have one, then what's the point of getting the rest? And it's the same Masterwork, from what it sounds like, it's the same Masterworks cores that come from weapons. So that's a lot of places to, even if you don't get some, if you're breaking down weapons and armor of ones you don't want, you can make your other armor pieces Masterworks too, to let those stack and maybe give you some noticeable, good damage reduction. So that's my thought.
I mean,
it makes sense to have the stack be like the full set, let's call it, be where it felt most significant. I think that would be appropriate, so I agree.
Well, and the full stack also of whatever additional armor stat you re-roll. I think that is going to be the main benefit from these Masterwork armor things, is that you're going to be able to stack your recovery to, heights that you've never been able to have with a hunter before. Let's be real. That's what everybody's thinking about.
Yeah, the only thing I wish we'd get for like Masterwork, like kind of like mods and perks, like, to go with that. Like the Masterwork's they're kind of safe right now, is what they're going for. I just want like some more fun things. Like I want to have like a reason to have my different armor. Because right now, my hunter, like I'll give you the specific example. My hunter rolls between three things. His armor stays the same, but depending on like what I do, like if it's raid layer, he has golden gun with the one shot helmet.
Nighthawk, yeah.
Yeah, Nighthawk. If I do Callus, he has the Orpheus rig. If I'm doing PvP and I'm playing as my Night Stalker, he has his Stompies. That's it. Everything else stays the same. And it's like, it's not really too much of a difference on there, but like, I want some extra stuff. Like if I'm in a raid, if I'm taking arc damage from, some enemies, it'd be cool if it popped off some orbs, or if it healed me a little bit. Something neat that's like, okay, where like normally where you'd be afraid to kind of do that kind of encounter, it's like, cool, come at me.
Yeah. Which we might get some of that with the next thing they want to talk about, which is the raid reworks. So they're going to add raid mods that help in those raids that will drop for you in the raid. And also with that, raid items are going to drop from every encounter now. And this is all for the still January update, January 30th. You'll be able to buy raid armor weapons from vendors for tokens, and then there'll be ghosts now that come with raid perks as well. So lots of raid perks from the mods, from your ghosts, stuff like that. So hopefully, I'm thinking that's probably going to add specifically to the raid encounters, some new ways of come at me, bro.
Well, well, not a big thing, but it does say every major encounter. So I think that would just be like in the specific example of the Leviathan. Like every time you go into the Castellum to open a new door, I'm assuming that doesn't count. It would just be baths, dogs, gauntlet, Catless. Would be my thought.
I would think so too.
I mean that's cool. I mean it kind of in a way is a 2-for-1 type of thing, because you're getting they want to make the raid stuff more readily available and more useful, but also like part of fixing the mods, if they give you like raid specific mod type of things, it kind of lets you create your own raid armor too. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a 2-for-1 type of fix if it's done, in a good way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the 2-for-1 fix. I think they're fixing 2 problems. The raid, the token thing was just like, I've heard a lot of people say this. The token should be like a system on top of a good loot system that helps you get, in case you didn't get what you want, lets you buy the thing you want. And so being able to buy raid armor weapons from the vendor is like buying the thing you want, in case you didn't get it, but also adding in the raid items will drop from each encounter. Like that is something that we really, really want. We want to see like the loot right away from doing that extremely hard thing we just finished. And then if you didn't get what you want throughout all those encounters or several raid runs, you can finally buy, what's the hand cannon everybody's trying to get right now? The
Midnight Coup.
The Midnight Coup, yeah. So finally be able to get it. You can zern it. You can zern your way.
Oh, God. Did you just zern? Well, I guess everyone wants D1 back. There you go.
Here we go.
Lego's throwing out zerning. Is that how you got your movie of the week, Emblem? Did you zern
I zerned it. But yeah, I think raid mods are great too. And I'm curious to see how far they take it. I'm hoping that what Fury said is the case, that there's specific things that you're like, yeah, I can do that. That's no problem to me. Like, what comes to mind is there was in one of the either the Dark Below or one of the raids with the Hive where you had a weapon that it was the Dark Below, because you could shoot through Hive shields was one of the perks of one of the raid weapons, like stuff like that. That's like, oh, you got a shield, whatever. I've got this raid perk that lets me take care of that, no problem.
Yeah. Because none of the weapons, like Taken King, like what was it? That
auto reload.
That was neat because the weapons, were specifically for certain enemies, like they were good against the Taken. So if if you're going into the strike playlist and you ran into one of the Taken strikes, you're gonna load up those weapons instead of being like me right now, where I just have my 2 auto rifles and my ward cliff, and I'm like, I do that with every single strike because. I don't need any diversity. There's nothing neat about the weapons. There's not an Outbreak Prime that's like, I'm going to use that for this encounter because it just makes enemies go crazy. It's just the weapons are a bit too safe. Like, I don't have diversity on there. It's like, look at snipers. Like, give me a sniper that has a reason for me to want to use it. There's not one right now.
Well, yeah, I think that's a sniper problem in general.
Well,
now.
Sniper problems. The weapons in general. Give me a reason to want to use that pulse rifle from the raid. I don't have a reason to use it right now.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Well,
I do want to say real quick that this is, and I'll probably say this about a few different topics as we go, so it's kind of a standing opinion. But I don't think a lot of these changes, I don't want to say they're not far enough, because it's a start. We know it's a start, and we hope there's more, but I'd still like a lot of these things to go more in depth, in the future.
I didn't ask for initially like an overall impression, because I think you kind of have to get through the list before and I know we've all read it, but just for those, who are like wondering like our final impression after reading everything, we'll definitely do a final at the end.
Yeah, no, that wasn't even a final. Yeah. I'm talking about like the mod system, Masterworks Armor, like specifically. I'm just saying like it's something that I feel about a few of these different things. Just specifically, I'm just warning everyone, I'm probably going to say it multiple times, but this is one of those things like it's another step in the right direction, but more is needed.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. So with that, in the February update, I'm just going to skip the first part here and go to the second part because Hove was talking about the mods and it needing to be more. And that's one of the things that's listed for the February update is mods 2.0, full rework of armor and weapon mods. So it's like we could get something entirely different, hopefully a ton better than what we have right now. And with the mods 2.0, they want to reduce the redundancy of mods, make them more unique, greatly increase their impact on your power. And this could get pushed back to a later date, they said, but they're just being very careful with the system and careful not to make it pay to win through Eververse, because you do through Ingrams get mods through Eververse that way, and they're like, we don't want to make it to where it feels pay to win, and so they're trying to figure out that whole system. But full rework of armor and weapon mods is a big statement, you know, and so I'm expecting to see significant changes to the mod system through that.
Yes, please do that. I think one of the things I would hope is instead of getting like Titan mark this, that it's just mark that. And I think maybe Wilson mentioned that on the last show or after we were done with the podcast, but that would really help free up some space. I have plenty of like Hunter arms at 2, and I'm like, please give me one more to make this the legendary and we could just move on. Like, hopefully they change something like that. I also think too, and Hove kind of hinted on that, is like being creative and being available. They don't really have to be the same thing. I think they're kind of still battling that, you know, we could do a lot more and be more in depth, but does that come at the cost of maybe like alienating, you know, this certain portion, right? And that's kind of been the base of our discussion since Destiny 2 came out. So I think the creativity can be there. You don't have to sacrifice availability and the ability to obtain something in, you know, to be creative and go further in something necessarily. So hopefully they don't, you know, they continue to be on the side of being creative, more in depth, without feeling like, hey, are these things going to, you know, push away some of these people? Because I think that it's an important thing to, you know, if you want to have more future in the game, to keep expanding on, like, you know, Fury was saying, like, you know, give me a reason to put this other piece of armor on here, as opposed to saying like, oh, but if we do that, is it going to create an item that maybe not everyone can get, and then they'll be afraid to play. They don't have to be mutually exclusive things. You can be both creative and have availability of things.
That's when seasons come in, because that was the intent of the seasons, because everything that's in that season is like, oh, you played season 2, that's why you have this. Now we're in season 3, that's not available. So there's that reason to make you want to play. It's like, yeah, that may not come back, but something close could come, you know, in that next season, something similar to it. It doesn't have to be the exact, but that'd be a way to get around that.
Kind of in that vein, I saw, I think it was Goth, in tweeting some of his reactions to this stuff. It started on a specific topic that I don't remember, but basically the gist of it was, paraphrasing his last tweet, was basically, if you work too hard to create a game that is for everybody, you run the risk of creating a game that's for no one.
For nobody, right. Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool way of summing up, maybe not cool because, you know, it sucks that that's an issue, but a really concise way of putting a lot of the things we've talked about. Mm-hmm. They've tried to make everything this everyone can get it, and no one's too good, and no one's this and that, and it makes nobody want to play it. Yeah, obviously that's all, you know, hyperbole, but I'm just saying.
I do hope that we see, like, and they talk about it at the very end of this whole update, but seeing in-game, like, grindy type work for it stuff, and we keep talking about that and keep bringing it up on this podcast, but the closest thing that we've seen to it is ornaments for armor is kind of the closest. And I brought that up a lot before for trials ornaments and things like that. You know, the monk the other day was tweeting about how he finally got all the Crucible ones. And it's like a grind because you have to go into the different playlists to get it all done. But that's the kind of thing we want. We want those grinds to go do those specific things. It's just ornaments may not do it for everyone.
Yeah, ornaments are dumb.
Yeah, we just need more stuff like that, like a gun at the end of this grinder.
So that add to that, the one thing that I really, really miss from D1 that we could actually benefit from in this game is actually using our factions. So what I did, like, you know, in D1, like to kill some time, was like, you know what? I'm going to go pledge the Dead Orbit. I'm going to go level up. I want some stuff. Like, why can't the faction rallies be, you know, specific, unique loot that's built for just the rallies, but we still have a loot pool from each faction that we want to get. Like there's a couple of ships, there's a couple of shaders, some more weapons. Like
make them a vendor again, pretty much.
Yeah, let me go. Work on my tokens to take to my vendor so I can go get stuff. Like instead of just having them pop up like what twice a season. That's it that they get used. Where we used to interact with them daily and do one just sit there. Like that's something like if you tell me it's like, hey, we're adding like 5 unique ships and one of them happens to be exotic to New Monarchy. It's like, how do I get them? Well, you have to go get, you'll pledge to New Monarchy and then we go get strikes. You could do it this way. It's like, yeah, cool. I'll go do it. I want that chase.
Yeah. And I want to see more stuff like that, not just in the factions, but just around the world, just in general. For Devrim on the ADZ, stuff like that. Because I think factions, there are, we'll talk about it with the TWAB, but there are like ships and ghosts and stuff like that coming now with the factions. But yeah, it's just a weekly thing. And like you said, there's not like a grind. It's just kind of random right now.
Between things. So like, there's that week that, you might knock out your Nightfalls. You might knock out everything. Like me, I can knock out my milestones on my characters in one evening. That's it. And then I don't have to come back to Destiny again. Like for some people, that's perfect. Other people like me, like, I want to play Destiny tomorrow, but there's nothing for me to do there. Like, if I happen to do that today, I'm like, there's nothing for me to go do in Destiny tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, want to move on here because there's still a lot more. We've got strike scoring also coming with the February update, which I feel like is Hove's thing from D1 that he was like, oh, strike scoring is going to be stupid. And then he loved it. So I'm really curious how that plays out, particularly for this podcast.
I'm wrong a lot. I've never said I wasn't.
I know that when it comes back, we're going to jump off, do it, and he'll be like, I haven't played a strike ever. And then when he gets the highest score, we're going to be like,
I have done so many strikes lately. I don't even want to hear it.
I don't believe for a second.
Is there a way to look that up? How do I look that up?
Probably look that up. I mean, there's probably.
I'm sure it's in clan stats
somewhere. I know when strike scoring dropped in D1, I think we all jumped into one right after that podcast. And you're like, oh, I never play ever. And then you got the highest score, and you're like, you bitches are playing
because I'm the best at the game.
Oh my god.
I'm the best in the game.
Oh my gosh.
So when Lego says in terms of this podcast, I'm sure that's what it's going to mean. We're going to play that night after a podcast, and I think Lego and I will collude to make sure you don't get the high score.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, but
you want.
What's really cool about to me the strike scoring thing, it's similar to D1. There's their goals, they want to have like a competitive execution of the strikes and support for. But this is a statement that I didn't understand. Support for player selectable score modifiers, which does that mean like we get to pick what the score modifiers are?
Sounds to me more like. Before it would be like grenade kills get you bonus points. Super kills, you'd be able to pick which ones you want to use.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
That would be great.
I'd pick Hove's kills.
Oh, gosh.
Award more points.
That doesn't make any sense. And then they're adding Nightfall high scores that will have emblems, or that, getting Nightfall high scores will get you emblems and unlock rewards. And then there will be future support for clan and community high scores within it, which all of this is awesome. And all of this is like, yes, I want to have the clan and community high scores so I can show Hove for real that I am better than him.
No, this is so that everybody in our clan can see who's the best strike player on this podcast.
Which is clearly
definitely
probably
me.
Fury, not Hove.
It's true.
Even Triton just said, we went in there and Hove was like, I never do strikes, and then beat us all. Just want you to realize that.
I don't know. I think Triton might be remembering things wrong.
I do think it's cool, though, although I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, because didn't we hear about clan leaderboards in, like, Taken King, and they just never happened and no one talked about them?
Yeah, there was supposed to be something like clans at that back then.
Yeah. Which, is it one of the disclaimers with this list is, hey, we're letting you know these things are coming, but they may not, things may change. So,
well, to be fair, though, and yes, that is always there. But it specifically said for the things that are further out, you'll start seeing that. These are things they're saying this is what's coming in this update.
Yeah. It's true. I'm just saying it could change. But yes, I do remember that, and I was waiting for that, and it never came, and I was like, what? And so I really hope this does come to fruition because I am really excited about competing against the people in my clan, and I want to see who's really good at what. And I hope to see this move over not just from PvE, but into the Crucible too, like who like, oh, clearly Fatebringer has, the highest KD of us all. Like, we're never going to catch up to him.
I mean, you have stat tracker. I mean, I know what you're saying, like, because there's a visual way to see that. I get it.
Yeah,
I think the no timer is a big thing for me because there's some things like you're playing the Nightfall, you're like, oh, better jump through this damn hoop. Oh, better shoot this anomaly. Where are they all at? That's not really in the spirit. I don't say not in the spirit of the game, but I'd rather not do that. I would rather have a funner way to get through the Nightfall. So I actually think the timer coming off and there being customization as to how we can score more points is far bigger incentive than shooting anomalies.
I get you, and I think you're probably right. That will be more fun for me. I thought that the timer idea was cool, and it was very stressful, but it doesn't entice me to go do it. It's more like, oh, do I want to go do that stressful thing?
Yeah. Well, maybe that could. I mean, I don't know. I guess it says it's replacing that mechanic, but could a mod be if you adding a timer in to finish in this? If you still wanted that challenge, I'm just saying. I think me and I know Mav hosted us earlier on, but we have we did a guided games actually for a while, and we had to wait. We wanted to do, but we waited till it was one of the ones we definitely could get done in this amount of time because certain ones are pretty brutal with that time.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
The good thing is,
complete the Nightfall.
If you get me, we won't have to wait for when we can get through because we can get through all of them.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna hold you to that, Hove. You're gonna take me through the Nightfall tonight.
Yeah, I wanted to do a Nightfall.
I have not done my Nightfall.
I asked you to play with me earlier, and you told me no.
Yeah, it's because my internet was out, just like your power went out earlier.
You told me. I gotta read, and I was like, we're gonna talk about it for 2 hours on the podcast.
That's true. I did have to read the notes. You gotta be prepared. Come on,
everybody. I've asked one person to play with him tonight. Just let that be known. I was not included in the ask to play Destiny.
Do you have Destiny 2 on PC?
Okay, I know that you threw the PC qualifier in there, and I was trying to get at you before you put that in there, but you did. So shut up.
Moving on.
Moving on. We've got quick play improvements also for the February update, and the quick play improvements are this is really interesting to me, this whole section. Increase the pace of gameplay and increase the of power ammo acquisition, which I have 2 questions, big question. Why just quick play? Why is it specifically quick play? And then secondly, what do you think they're gonna do to increase the pace of gameplay? That's a bold statement. And a lot of people probably automatically are like, time to kill, maybe it's movement, I don't feel like
in the game.
I don't think you can do those two because they would be across the game. As far as the why, I mean, my thought would be maybe this is just a byproduct of it, but it would help separate the playlist some. You know what I mean? But also if you keep competitive with less power ammo and it's something that you need to hey, teamwork, who's going to get this power ammo? What are we going to do with it? Whereas in quick play, I mean, I think it would even be as simple as when it gets popped, there's a radius to if you're near it, it gets dropped like it used to be. That would give everyone power ammo once in a while. That would speed things up.
Interesting.
That seems like a pretty easy fix.
I think that is a solution to both things. I think when I think about, and this is kind of where I could have a geek out moment in terms of how they're actually defining pace in the game, because I think just shortening the time would speed that up. So if you needed to reach a certain score or you knew you only had 5 minutes, maybe that would encourage it. I'm always interested to know how they would define pace in terms of the metrics that they could measure for us. But I look at them 2 different things. One is how they define pace and how they're going to make us play faster. So to me, and then to Ho's point, certain things you can't do. You can't shrink all the maps, right, to a smaller scale. So that wouldn't work. So I think the availability of power ammo, I guess if that creates more kills, or the radius that would allow more people to have it. Or I mean, I think you can lower the time. So essentially, if you say, well, if there's less time to get a score, although at the same time, maybe then you just win matches 30-25, and that's not fun. So it'll be interesting to see how that is. But for me, I guess my curiosity is how they define pace will be interesting. So I think when we do see that, we'll have a little bit of clue into what they feel powers, what metrics power pace. That's interesting.
Well, that's my thought because of that is it says they're adjusting game mode rules to increase pace and power ammo acquisition.
So you look at holistically, together one does the other, because your solution does
absolutely
make sense. Okay.
I mean, I feel like increasing power ammo would increase pace, right? I mean, to a
I
point,
absolutely agree.
Not a total solution to the issues we've had, but more power ammo means more of, the hero moments we talk about, more running off on your own, more one-shot kills. And yeah, I know that became an issue to a point with sticky grenades and whatnot, but it does increase, pacing and being able to run around on your own and kill people. So
yeah.
Okay. So if you're saying like pace is a result, like increasing the pace is because of the power ammo, because I guess I looked at that as that's going to be one of the things, but they're also going to look at it another way. So it'll be interesting to see which one it is, because I do think your solution provides both.
Yeah, so. I mean, I definitely think that would do both. I'm not saying that that's the only way they're looking at it, but I do think that's something that, because MTash put out a video just the other day that was really cool. You should go watch it. It actually took a graphic that Joe Blackburn put out about raids, but he kind of used it for PvP, which I'm not going to explain the whole video, but basically he was saying, in Destiny 1 PvP, I killed this guy with my primary, another guy came around, I shotgunned him, then I threw a grenade, and then I did all this stuff. And in Destiny 2 PvP, even if you do get those 1v1s, it's like primary fight, duck behind cover and recover. Other primary, duck behind cover, recover. There isn't... That kills the pacing. That slows everything down a lot.
Yeah. And I think we felt that in Mayhem. At least I did. Whenever I had power ammo like more frequently, then whenever I used a super, I would come out of that super and have power ammo, and it was like that variety gameplay that you're talking about. And then when I ran out of that, then switched to the primary, and it was like consistently something different. And I agree with you. I'm excited to see what they change here, because these sound like good things to me. I have no idea how they're going to implement it, but it's exciting.
It could be our ability cooldowns too, because that's one thing that they could increase across the board. It doesn't have to be like your super energy, but like, it's like if I can go invisible more often, if you can drop your your arc ghosts or arc spirit from,
arc buddies.
Arc buddies, you could do that more. If you could drop like, your shield a little bit quicker as a Titan, like, live up to what your name is doing. Like, I want to be able to be a hunter, not just like, hey, I could be a hunter like every 60 seconds or every 30 seconds. It's like, no, I could have my hunter abilities more frequently than that.
I definitely think that would work. I think that's just another thing that I feel like they should address that more with maybe like Masterworks Armor or mods or something. Because again, that's the kind of thing that I think would be odd for them to, hey, this only works in quick play. Like movement speed. They're not going to adjust movement speed just in quick play, not in comp.
The mayhem is like how fast.
Yeah.
Right. No. I'm saying they could. I just think it's something like that maybe would work a little bit. Like you can spec for that stuff as opposed to just like, hey, let's turn everything up. I agree with you.
Fury.
The reason
I feel like it sounds like something that they would change, kind of like the way they did Mayhem, where it's like everything increases a little bit more, just not the extent that Mayhem is.
Right.
It'll just be some incremental amount.
I think the good news too is they're differentiating, like, hey, our competitive mode is going to sit outside of this. So we've talked a lot about, they went to this balanced state in hopes that they would push ranked and competitive, all these other things. They never did anything with it. So they're going to leave that the way that it is, and maybe that's a little bit more balanced, and quick play will return to the, and I hesitate to say fun, but to an environment where there's a little bit more, at least variety in some sense, and hopefully, more power ammo. Maybe that helps with the sniper thing that Hove and I have been on for a little bit.
I just want to, so I can't believe, like, I don't want to bring this up again, but I was watching your montage, Lego. And even though you're not a big sniper, you had some like really good snipes in there, and you kind of did it. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but it seemed to be sectioned. Like you had some fusion rifle kills, then some shotgun kills, then some.
Yeah, it was purposeful. Yeah.
And the sniper section, like, even though that it was like 6 snipes. God knows how long it took you to get that. Not because you're bad, because of snipers. But like,
appreciate that.
It felt. I mean, it felt closer to like a D1 montage. Like, it was fun seeing sniping, and it like made me really sad that I can't do it.
Yeah, and honestly, like, because some of those, if you look, they're in succession and they're like the same map, so I got them the same game, and a lot of them you can watch the clip, and I had like 3 headshots in a row, and you can watch the clip go down. No, I'm telling you, and it's because I had the power ammo constantly available to me, and so I wasn't afraid to take the risk to do it. Yeah, and we don't have that in D2 right now, and that's what I want.
Especially with sniping, the most fun way of sniping, like, there's 2 ways of sniping. You can sit, hide in the back, head glitch, and snipe someone, which isn't fun. But the like quick scoping and sliding in and coming around corners, you're right. If you're only going to get that 3 rounds of power ammo that might be gone in 20 seconds, you might not get it again. You're not going to do that kind of fun stuff.
And I'm not even going to run a sniper because it's so much more difficult to get a headshot with that than it is for me to fusion rifle someone at the same distance, you know, and kill them for sure.
And people aren't sitting on their supers to kill you just when that one person gets the power ammo on the other teams. I mean, there's like a perfect combination of a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay, so now that I've got that compliment from Hove,
it wasn't really a compliment.
It was kind of a jab too. You're right. They're adding in PC Tower Chat for PC February as well, which is cool. Like that's great. We were talking about it before the podcast. Triton was even like, "Man, I wish I had it on PC so I could try that out. That sounds cool."
I know that that's a big thing for PC gamers, but not being a real big PC gamer, I don't care for text chat, but apparently that's something people really love, so great.
I mean, I think it's going to be awesome for those people looking for groups, you know? Like maybe it's going to be super annoying sometimes, but maybe it could come through and people actually play with someone that they could never play with before. So
I'm going to go
good for them.
I'm going to go troll everybody.
Yeah, or that's going to happen too, I'm sure. Then
your
also
name's stupid.
There's 2 more things here for February. Exotic repetition. You're no longer going to get the same thing twice in a row, but you can still get duplicates. You just won't get the exact same thing in a row, which happens so frequently right now.
Question with that, wasn't there already supposed to be like a safeguard to like protect you from duplicates?
Yeah, and it didn't work. It was bugged, I believe.
It's like, why?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of stompies in a row.
I know. The other day, I got 3 of the same exotic in a row, and it was like, you know, I don't know, it's like the grenade launcher, not the fighting line, but the other one that nobody ever talks about, Prospector. Yeah. And I was like, really, 3 in the same session? Okay, yeah.
The next one's one of the biggest ones in this whole thing that I've mentioned so many times.
I know. When I saw it, I was like, no way. So also, last thing for February, fire team members can now be seen on the destination map wherever you are. So like if you're in the EDZ and you quick time and you quick jump to another part of the map, you can see your fire team members where they are.
For anyone listening at home, in general terms, that's usually called fast travel.
Fast travel, whatever. Yeah, fast travel. I'm just saying words.
But if you want a quick time, you can quick time too.
I was waiting for you to jump on this, Hove, because this should be really exciting to you, because you bring it up all the time.
I mean, it was stupid. Why do you have a map that you can't see your fire team and stuff on? That made no sense.
I was just playing Destiny 2 with someone for the first time. They were only level like 12 or right now, I think, playing the game for the first time. And this is just like last night. And we were in the EDZ, and it was that part of the story where like you have to hit level 15 before you go to the next thing. And he was like, oh, dang it, I'm level 14, so we couldn't even play a 30 yet. I was like, okay, well, let's just run this public event real quick. And I was like, and I was trying to explain to him how to fast travel to this other part of the map and where to meet me. And you had to think for a second, wait, he's never played Destiny. He doesn't know where Trossland is. You know, like I had to explain, okay, the bottom right of the map, go to that place. I'll meet you there. I couldn't just be like, yeah, I'm like, see where I am on the map, go there. And now finally you can do that.
Even more important than that, though, and they don't mention it, so I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I was hoping that like your like tagged, marked things would show up for fire teams. Like if I mark an event, that it would show up for you.
Points.
That would be nice.
PUBG does it.
Well, entirely different game, but yes. Okay, should we move on to spring 2018? Let's move on to spring 2018.
Moving on.
Even if you moved on without us, we would know because the map would show us where you are.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
this is why Hove's the worst.
First off, Crucible stuff. Seasonal Crucible ranks. And so they've got 2 different ones, Valor and Glory. Valor increases as you complete a match. Losses don't count. Losses don't count. Losses don't count. But winning will get you up your rank faster. Glory is a progression rank that goes up when you win and down when you lose. And so these are 2 different ones. I got questions about these as well, like clarifications that I feel like will come later. But are these different playlists, or do you like choose these, or
I think it's just
I
two
think it's
ranks
just
that you have.
two rankings, yeah.
okay, and so you can like choose which one to show, because in the thumbnail they show it shows Valor, it's like it looks like a V, and it just shows that one, and so like, you know, I guess you can change out those, or maybe that was just the emblem that showed it, and maybe it's just like a rank that doesn't show normally, you know.
Maybe on your character screen you could see it, or yeah, if you put on like that particular, I would think it's like the emblem. So like, you know, the way you have the how many quick play games have you won, then you could switch the other emblem. Then it's like your, like we talked about in the before the podcast, like your KDA is showing things like that. But I would think it's one way to achieve it, and then it just depends on which one you want to display. I think that's where you're going. Like it's, I don't think it's gonna be like, here's your Valor playlist and here's your Glory playlist kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Wendler in chat, he's saying it's like Halo ranks used to be. He said one is a social playlist where your performance is irrelevant. The other one is like Halo's 1 to 50 ranked playlist.
That's what I had in my mind at first, but I was like, but they haven't clarified anything, so we can't be for sure either way.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I guess your the Halo background would make some sense. I think Lego, do you have a strong Halo background as well? And
and so that's what I was thinking.
I mean, either way, I don't think I care which one it is.
Yeah.
You know, so like Wendler put it, social rank and like a ranked rank, which is the stupidest way I've ever heard anyone put anything. Ranked rank, Wendler, ranked rank.
Oh, so you're right.
rank.
No, I like it.
Yep.
The one thing with the Glory one, the performance-based one, I realized it's something that would be a lot to ask for right off the bat. But the one thing that I think is interesting but will force a certain kind of play, which I think is good in this sense, it's based on whether you win or lose, right?
Yes.
Is what they're saying. So it would be really cool if there was some sort of performance in there, you know, kind of like Overwatch where you can lose but still play well. And, you know what I mean? Like not lose as much SR. But,
if you're the best person on the team type of thing.
Yeah, but one, that would be really complicated for them to get together. And two, I think the cool thing about this is it will force, maybe not force, but it will greatly encourage going in with a team play. Because if you go in, no matter how good you are, if all these other blueberries go in, don't know how to do anything, and you're just going to lose and lose and lose, and it doesn't matter if you go 60-0 and lose 100-60, no one's going to go in there by themselves. Like it should help make that a team-based thing, right?
And no one can complain about running stacked anymore because you're supposed to run stacked. It's ranked.
And you should play to win the game, not play to do just like, you know, Clash or whatever as well. So whatever the objective is, probably should play that as well too, which I think is, you know, we've not ever really talked about it in depth, and we won't be here, but you know, just like wins and losses should probably be a big formula of skill or rank as opposed to like
just killing people.
Performance. Yeah, so I think that makes a lot of sense too.
Cool. I like the names, Valor and Glory too.
Yeah,
they're catchy.
Other than ranked, and
ranked, and what was the other?
Social rank. That's what they should have called it. I'm gonna get a hold of Chris Barrett and tell him that they need to be called social rank and ranked rank.
I think you're onto something, Wendler.
He hasn't said anything in chat since he was roasted.
Private matches. We're also getting private matches. Still not custom matches, but there were options in the screenshot they showed. I saw an option for allow resurrection, which was cool. So we're at least going to see.
That was
in
D1.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's going to be like D1. You know, there's still going to be something there, but it's still just private matches. We're not getting custom change, you know, all snipers only or anything like that. Which shoddy snipes, man.
But
I want it.
With it being private matches, you can kind of like do that yourself. Like, if
tell
someone's like, "No, I'm not going to do that," then you go, "Okay, bye." Like,
exactly. I just hope there's an option for like what I want one day, which Mayhem will be fine for this, but like starting with power ammo, that would be a lot of fun.
No. Okay. So I was thinking about this earlier. We have the option, like, you know, those little triangles that, you know, where Mayhem showed up. Like, what if there's like that custom, like, arcade fun playlist, the way like kind of Overwatch has, where you have like some crazy, stupid fun ones? What if there was ones like snipers only, or like, you know, power ammo only? You don't get ammo for your primary or your elemental. Like, you get 0. You only get ammo for your power weapon. So it's like either rockets, grenades, snipers. That's all you get. Just, you know, have a fucking fun playlist, something you could do. That's why I like Mayhem. It was ridiculous, but it was fun.
I would love that.
do you remember Halo with Team Rocket?
Yes.
Everyone only had rockets. It was stupid, but it was fun. Just give us that one like offshoot like fun like playlist, or just give us like hand cans are primaries only, but the primaries are like super powerful and like this playlist, something like that.
I'm all for it. Yes. I think the more like crazy stuff you put in there, the more fun Destiny is a lot of times. And I think Mayhem kind of showed us that this past week or these past 3 weeks, And so I hope that we are able to. First of all, I'm just glad I want to say I'm glad to have private matches back in, just to have like Rezo game nights. We can't really do that right now other than raid nights, but we could have like a Rezo game night where just like our clan gets together and plays each other, which is so much fun.
6v6.
It's coming. Oh, so yeah, that's next. 6v6. That's next on the list. 6v6 is returning, which is huge.
I'm so happy about that. I am so happy about 6v6.
Tell us your feelings, Fury. What's going on there?
Okay. So like I've had this conversation with a lot of people, but like, before we would go do strikes, and it's like, we could have 2 people, like, 2 groups of 3 doing strikes. It's like, hey, let's go do a raid. Cool. We'll go do a raid. We get done with the raid. It's like, hey, let's go do some PvP. Oh, wait. We can't, because you only have 4 and you have 6 people. It's like it's the only activity that's 6 people based. It's like, give me something else.
You just kick Triton out.
Well, Triton sucks anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just nice.
He just raises his eyebrows.
Nice. Just to be able to have a fun time. Like if I want to be in a group party with 6 people and just bullshit, and I even care about like that I'm being an ass in PvP, that's cool, because I'm just shooting the shit with 6 of my friends in PvP instead of 4 of my friends in PvP while my other 2 friends are doing adventures or strikes. It's like, no, we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, man. It is weird to go from all, because right now we got 4's activities, and we have 3 activities with patrol and story stuff, and then we've got 6 activities, but none of them translate to each other. And actually having the 6s is going to be one thing that you can combine or take away, and go do something else.
Lego, what about this? What if they made strikes like kind of like a play off of that one, where you could take a 6-man fire team in there, the ads were stronger, so it's like you have a reason to have 6 people in there. I would be okay with that.
If they could make it all work, I would love it. Yeah, that would be so much fun.
But like, hey, we're doing a strike, all 6 of us. It's like, what? It's like, yes.
I don't think it could take it though, but I can dream for that. That would be awesome.
We can do an entire raid, the Leviathan, with 6 people. It can handle it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know how it works. Like, so I don't want to dream too far into it. We've got all this stuff too. But yes, it's a nice thought. What else was 6v6? I feel like there was other stuff. I mean, map stuff. Because that was their whole a lot of reasoning before was like, these maps were built for 4v4, was a lot of thinking of like, how could it work? And now that they've announced they're bringing it back, how do you think that's going to work? Because like spawning stuff was a problem before. They're going to build new maps that just work for 6v6. How's this going to work?
I mean, I'm sure coming, in the future as they build new maps, they'll factor that in. But I don't see them making new maps just for this. I think it's just going to be, one of those things that just deal with it. Like, hey, we gave you 6s. We'll do the best we can. It's 6s.
Yeah. Which I'd be cool with, I just to have it available and just see how it was and then work on it from there.
It sounds like they're saying a 6v6 playlist. So it's not like there's going to be quick play and comp. Like it's probably just going to be built to be nonsense, just fun.
For sure.
It won't be as big of a deal. So
is that our next term for the day? We have like social ranked, and fun is the third option.
Fun ranked.
Look at the time frame for that. Like, like the maps that we have right now were made for 4s. They're aiming for spring 2018. What else is going to come out in spring 2018? The next DLC. What comes with the DLC? A couple of maps. So they might be reworking those maps to be for 6s,
Maybe, but they're going to have this content is supposed to be available to everyone with the live teams or the seasonal stuff that's coming, which this is listed in the stuff. And so 6v6 is going to be for everyone. So it's got to work on something that everybody has.
I'm saying, like the maps that we have, we're gonna have to do that. But going forward, that we are gonna get 6v6. I think that's gonna be implemented to the map choices that we're gonna get.
Gotcha.
Like, forward.
I think in the past, like the new maps, so to Fury's point, like if the DLC drops and there's like 2 Sixes maps that maybe are exclusive to that, isn't it in the next DLC those things get pushed back so like everyone would get to experience those maybe 2 or 3 specific DLC design maps? That's how it worked in D1, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it could be something like that. Yeah, I think when you got like new exclusive maps for the DLC, didn't become available to everybody on the next DLC. So if they do design 6 specific maps that are locked behind expansions, that's not how...
I don't think so.
I don't think
never true. Okay.
That happened in like other games potentially. I don't think that's happened in Destiny though.
Okay.
Well, I know
also,
Triton's
it's your choice
excited
to go in there. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to play on these small maps with 6 people, then just don't go in the playlist.
Yeah.
I know you're excited though. That's one of the things you've brought up a lot is missing 6s.
Oh yeah, I mean it's gonna bring back my Sunday group. Hopefully, because we were always, that's probably like the one time I ever streamed was on the Sundays playing just 6s and PvP. So I thought that'd come back with Iron Banner. So I'm just glad to see it back in some form in the near future, 3 months or so.
Nice. Next up is Mayhem event. A Mayhem will return as a limited time event during season 3 and forward. So basically that sounds to me like basically an event like Iron Banner or Faction Rally is going to be in rotation. It's going to be like a seasonal event just like those things. And they're just probably going to come up with a name for it separate than those, which is great in a way. And I'm slightly disappointed in a way too, because I want Mayhem even sooner than season 3. Because it was so much fun, and it's like a fun thing that's in the game already that they don't need to work on. It's available now if they just make it available, kind of thing. And so that's the only thing that's disappointing to me about it. Other than that, though, I'm excited that it's going to be a monthly thing, which is just like, I think last week Hove mentioned that like it should just be like in rotation. That would be great if it was just in rotation, and that's what they're going to do. They're basically putting it in rotation, so that's great.
I could see it. I mean, I could see it not come until season 3 because you think we already have into February faction rallies, Iron Banner, and then Crimson Days.
Yeah.
Which takes us more than at least, well, it probably takes us all the way through February, right? Because we're going to assume Crimson Days is going to be multiple weeks, like the Dawning was.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I mean, that takes us into March, and if we're going seasons, the first season was 3 months. Real seasons are 3 months. So, I mean, I would assume that season 3 is going to start in March sometime.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, that might work out okay.
Like, it really wants Mayhem.
I do, man. I had so much fun.
I want it every other week.
I am really excited for Crimson Days stuff coming up, which we'll talk more about in a little bit, I think. Did anybody else have anything else on the Mayhem?
I love it.
Love it. I'm right there with you.
So competitive Mayhem League.
Competitive Mayhem, please. Okay, for real though. I should say this during another podcast. But I really want to see a Mayhem Trials. That would be so much fun. I know that people would probably hate that, but people would take so many more risks, and it would just be fun.
I think it would work okay with survival.
With survival? Yeah, survival. Yeah,
because that's a continuous game mode.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have worked. Like, could you imagine Mayhem Elimination? That would be terrible.
That would suck.
Yeah, that would suck.
It would be okay if you had the option of doing like a normal versus Mayhem for like a weekend. It's like, if you don't want to put up with the craziness, we have the normal version. But if you want to, have some adventure, do that.
Nope.
You saying nope, go all out?
Yeah, if you're going to do it, just do it.
Yeah, just like they did the Halloween thing or anything else that they've ever done. Just do it. Yeah.
Oh my god, the uproar from the no radar. It's like...
You didn't like that? Oh, I thought it was so much fun.
I had fun with that, but other people were like, "Oh, radar." I'm like, just no, just go play. Just go play.
Okay. So last stuff this is for spring. I'm on now. Last stuff for spring. They had a bunch of additional things, so I'm just gonna kind of go. I guess I got to take these one by one. Trying to prevent people from quitting. They're working on ways to prevent people from quitting, and working on behind the scenes security stuff to help improve Crucible. That's all great. I don't think we really have anything to say about any of that.
Just that they've mentioned that a couple times now.
Yeah, we're ready for it. The quitting thing in particular, I think ranked will help a little bit, but there needs to be something else on top of that. There needs to be
a punitive system.
Yeah. Additional spring stuff. They're gonna, regular sandbox balance changes, exotic changes, which they've also mentioned before, making exotics, actually useful and exotic for some of them. Like what's the pulse rifle that like is terrible that you get from the story mission? Even it has
Graviton Lance.
Graviton Lance. It's just stuff like that. Which they don't mention. I'm just throwing that in there. I hate that thing.
Somewhere someone's crying that designed Graviton Lance.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I mean, I love it. Looks cool. It sounds really cool. Like I want it to be good. We've talked about that.
Don't try backing it up.
Yeah. Wait, I don't want someone to be upset. Oh, it's so cool.
No. I'm serious though. It does sound really cool, and we've mentioned that before. Vendors will have seasonal rankings with seasonal rank rewards, which is a little, basically that means they'll be like the faction rally stuff in the future. Vendors will actually have a rank with, once you get to the top of it, you'll be able to get special stuff, and that's great. Which is similar, Fury, to what you were talking about with like wanting the old school Dead Orbit stuff, how in D1 you'd rank up and eventually get like an exotic something, I think this is similar to that.
Yeah, because what other, I mean, I would think it would be, because other than, I don't consider Shaxx a vendor. I don't consider...
Oh, I think that's what they're talking about. I think they're talking about Shaxx and Zavala and everybody.
Really? I was hoping more it would be more like
the vendors.
Like
Fury we already have that with
we don't have it. That's what I'm saying. I want it to be like the factions.
We don't like they've already announced that they've changed for the next time Iron Banner rolls around, that it's going to be like, it's not like through packages you buy. Once you've turned in 5 packages, you can buy the thing that you want. Like it's gonna be like that. They've already announced it for this next week. It's gonna be like that for the faction rally.
I'm talking about, like Fury was saying, like not just during the faction rallies. Like you should be able to
go to the vendors whenever.
Go to the vendors whenever and like buy stuff and rank up like we used to. And I don't know. When I saw vendors, I was hoping that would be more like, I consider. I know that this isn't official like Destiny terms, but like, is Zavala really a vendor? No.
Well, I'm just saying when they announced that tower vendors, what they had in stock is going to be rotating that you can buy. Like they use the term vendor for that, and so that's why I associate it with everyone.
That would only be the Gunsmith, Zavala, and Shaxx, because Cade only gives you map. Amanda still does nothing. There's no mention about Amanda, which makes me sad because she just sits there in the hangar. And then over there where Ikora is at, Ikora just does the meditations, which is not a vendor per se. Like you can still earn tokens for it, but there's like,
well, official Destiny terms. I guess they're all vendors. I'm just hoping they're not.
Great for that, but I'm talking about like if you don't like, if things you can get without having to have a fire team, that's going to be those other vendors.
Mm-hmm.
But like Benedict, you have to go do that. Hawthorne's not really a vendor. You can buy stuff from her, but that's clan based. Ikora's meditation based, so you have to do that specific thing instead of just like, hey, I'm just gonna go do strikes and go do patrols, like and get stuff like, or Crucible, like it's that kind of thing. Those are the ones that you can really go to.
Gotcha. Well, I'm still gonna hold to that's what I think it is. I still think it's Shaxx and Zavala and even Ikora, just because in the next.
Why do you sound excited about that, though?
Well, because I want to hold on to it so I can shove it in Hope's face later. That's all.
I'd rather get things that are more fun than be able to say I was right.
No, I think this is fun. I think it would be great to have that because, listen, in the next
but I'm saying my point is I want it to expand and be more.
I see. Okay.
God, nobody lit. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, in the next one, it says continued improvements on IB and faction rallies, and so that's basically for the other people we were talking about there. Playlist reputation fixes, trying to stop the same map or strike from coming up, which is great because there's tons of complaints about that, and it's annoying for me even to run in this same strike twice in a row. You're like, really? Come on. Or the same map too. You're like, come on, let me play something different. So I like that they want to add variety to those things.
severely reduce that one Nessus strike where you got to kill that invisible fallen at the end.
Oh
because
my
that's,
God.
That's like a 50-minute strike.
I
It's
always
like,
left when I got that strike.
I did the heroic strikes this week. I just left that one twice in a row. I'm like, God, please.
It's like, yeah.
It's horrible. Even if your team's good, it just takes forever.
Just bring back Omnigul.
Well, it's almost like Omnigul, but before
there's
she had something good to
no
drop.
grasp of Malik at the end. There's just
without
like,
grasp.
sadness in a chest. I don't want that.
I liked what's her face.
Yeah, I thought that one was fun.
You would, Ho.
This is nothing like that.
You would.
Sorry, I have good taste.
All right, moving on. Sorry to derail that, but I hate that strike.
No, you're good. But I completely lost where I was because I was laughing at Hove.
In-game player pursuits.
Yeah, in-game player pursuits. They're still working out the details on those, which to me, that's the most important thing. And I think they kind of hit on it with some of the Eververse stuff, but hopefully that is a main like pursuit of theirs. And it is listed for spring. So, and then after that, multi-emote. So you can choose what you want in each slot of your emote slot, which is great because that I feel like that should have been a thing a long time ago. I'm excited about it.
And the Woken Dance sucks, so if I can replace that, that'd be
exactly nice. Yes. I want my dance thing to be one of my dance emotes that I got to drop, and I want to use the other slot for other things.
Yeah, I just don't care.
You have the right to not care. Hove,
I do.
But
thank you.
But I do care, and I'm excited about the emote slots. Maybe not as excited as like the Husky Raid guys are, but I'm excited. Then Vault Space, adding 50 slots. They know that isn't the solution. And they're also adding an exotic tab to the vaults for exotics, so you don't have to keep them. But or it's like going to be a separate spot, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. It's not clarified a whole lot. But I'm with them. Like, I don't think that is the solution, is just adding more slots. Like, and we've talked about it before, even last week and previously. Like, kiosks work great in D1. Yep. I'd love to see something like that again. That is easy to like see what you've collected and what you haven't, and stores it for you. And with weapons that don't, have static rolls, it would be super easy. So, not saying it's easy to program because you had it in D1, but it is a system that I think would work.
Yeah.
So I'm still thinking the same thing about all that.
50 is not enough, especially the next time we get a DLC.
No.
It's just a patch in between them because we're not going to get any new weapons aside from faction rallies and maybe Crimson Days, but I don't think we'll even actually get new weapons there. So it's just a temporary patch until we probably get to that next DLC where we'll hopefully have a better solution because that's when we'll get more weapons.
That's just the vault, right? So like shader space and all those other things. That's not. It's just talking vault, right? It's not like a global.
They would bring Ava Levante back, put her over there where she was supposed to be by like the bazaar, make her be the vendor, like for the shaders. It's like you can go buy the shaders that you've unlocked, and cool, you can delete all the ones that you don't need because you can always go back to her and buy them whenever you want.
That would be really nice.
We're looking at you, the 5 Vanguard shaders of orange, blue,
but
and
I don't mind the shader system now if they could figure out a way to do that, Fury, and still have like where you get them from certain activities, because I like the incentive to get more faction shaders.
Right. Or just give me a kiosk for just my shaders that shows me I have this many of this one that doesn't have to, put it in my vault.
That would be great too. I'm all for that.
Because I have almost a page full of shaders that I don't want to use.
Mm-hmm. Next up on the list, PC clan chat. So that just, we probably all feel the same about that as we did the PC chat. That's great. Yeah. Yep. Heroic strike changes, modifiers being added to them, which I think is like something that I really wanted to see and thought was going to come when they announced heroic strikes, but isn't. There's no modifiers on the heroic strikes. It's just a little bit more difficult. You get more rewards, and so they already have heroic adventures that do have the modifiers, and so I would like to see those modifiers on the heroic strikes. Like, that'd be great. And they say it's coming, so awesome. Good changes. Last section of updates are for fall 2018 or sooner, they said. So we could see some of these things sooner. They're just in the future. Item collection and records they want to work on.
So that could be like the kiosks, right?
Yeah.
Item collections.
I would think. Or some sort of record book, or...
I was thinking more because when Chris Barrett had been tweeting that this stuff was coming out, someone asked about collecting ghosts and things like that, and he said yes, that will be mentioned. And it isn't specifically, so I'm thinking that's probably item collections.
I think it's like stuff like people wanted Grimoire to chase, you know, and so maybe just something
Dead
for
ghosts.
collectors to chase. Yeah. Weapon slot and archetype improvements.
That's a big one to me.
Yeah, tell me about it, Hove.
Well, potentially a big one. I mean,
Yeah.
weapon slot and archetype improvements. I mean, that weapon slot, like changing the weapon slots in any way, shape, or form, you know, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we had talked off stream, I think, about something that like I had thought up, and then you were like, oh, DCP mentioned that last week in their podcast, and I didn't even know, but a 4th weapon slot as a potential. And because I had watched some YouTube videos over people that were like, we want D1 back, we want secondary and heavy and primary, and I'm like not for that at all. Like, I don't know how you could go back to that after having a scout rifle and a hand cannon, or, you know, a pulse rifle and a submachine gun. I'm like, no, I like having those diverse loadouts, but mentioning having that 4th slot to separate, you know, snipers, fusions, and shotguns, or something like that.
Well, to basically separate what used to be special and heavy into 2 slots.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. Like, I think those are real. I bet what this is they're playing around with stuff like that, and hopefully have some solution that makes some of their other goals, like having quick play faster, more exciting, and the gameplay in general, like PvE. Like, people were talking about snipers are just like not good to use versus like a rocket launcher or something like that. But if you had it in its own slot and it competed against the rocket launcher, maybe it would be more interesting. I don't know. What's up?
I don't know. I was just thinking, are linear fusion rifles still like a thing?
I tried using some because
I don't think I've gotten a single one like through all I've been playing.
There's not as many legendary ones, but they are a thing, and they do a lot of damage in PvE. Like, they're great.
They're
PvE
great
guns.
for like when I first did the raid. Like, I was doing. It was the first time I'd ever done Callus, and I was doing almost double everyone else's damage. And they were like, "What are you using?" And it was a linear fusion rifle and Cold Heart.
Yep, that was a Tarantula fusion rifle.
I mean, there's a couple.
One of them. Yeah, there's a couple.
The Man of War and. There's another.
Yeah, they're all in that same family where they're like actually look different than other fusion rifles.
Man of War.
Yeah, no, I think you're right here. There's like 3 or 4 legendary ones.
There's not that many.
Yeah, not that many, and they're very hard to use in PvP. Like, yeah, they have like some crazy aim assist on them sometimes, but it was difficult to use for me. I don't know. Maybe somebody. I would love to see. Rusty, where are you at? Let me see your linear fusion rifle montage. I want to see that.
Are you calling him out?
I am calling anybody out. Show me your linear fusion rifle montage.
I'm not going to show you anything, you pervert.
Tell me about it in a review you leave for us on iTunes.
Oh my God.
Just kidding.
By the way, if you didn't know, Lego won Movie of the Week.
Thanks.
Someone's not paid.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So also additional Crucible playlists, parentheses, Rumble. Yes, please. Sooner, please. Not fall 2018.
I hope it's fall 2019.
Oh my gosh. No, whenever Christopher Barrett like tweeted some stuff and it was like, yes, we will address Rumble, I was like, yes, it's coming. And then saw it under fall 2018. I was like, no, it's so long, but
sooner.
Or sooner. I'm holding on to that, man. I'm holding because Rumble to me, I don't want to go on the tangent. I'm not going to talk about it. If you can talk to me about it on Twitter, but Rumble is like, I think the best way to work on your personal like 1v1 skills. And I don't know, it's just a gameplay, a game type that kept me coming back to D1 over and over again. And I don't necessarily have that thing that I can play by myself that is like bringing me back and challenging myself over and over again. And Rumble is that for me. And so I would love to see that come back in whatever form they bring it.
Faux show.
And they say additional Crucible players, so they didn't just say Rumble. It could be other things, like maybe like Fury was talking about, some crazy fun mode that's like rockets only or something, you know. I would love to see some fun things, not just, you know.
Well, you remember when they saw Rumble data mined or however they got it, they also saw something about elimination was another one.
Yeah, that is another thing. People are talking about You know, another thing on this list, I'm just going to jump to, is Trials of the Nine improvements. And people were saying maybe we'll see elimination come back to that, or maybe like size changes or anything, you know.
I'll laugh if the Trials of the Nine improvement is, you know, just the cutscene at the front, just skip. That's it.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would be an improvement.
Yeah, I would be way more down to play a second card Trials if I could skip the intro.
Like skip everyone, like, you know, what is it, Overwatch? All the players will select to skip like the cutscene for like whatever special event's going on. It's like, all right, let's get to it.
Oh, cool. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. It's awesome.
Vote to skip.
Other things, better clan rewards. Which, do we need better clan rewards?
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird.
Is that like, so I guess the engrams could be better. Like that's what we kind of get for completion. I took this more like maybe with the banner.
Yeah.
So like those banner clan rewards, because some of those I don't know if I mean, you're supposed to get them, but I never really like tangibly feel like, oh yeah, we're at like level 5, so killing this Vex gave me 37 glimmer as opposed to 25. Great job. Like I don't hopefully they're better in that way.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm hoping it's banner improvements and not the rewards I hope improve awards actually means like less from the other clan engrams, like Trials of the Nine engram, where you have all the weapons from Trials of the Nine, you never need to run it. I don't know.
Do you remember when we were like, well, the one saving grace of getting stuff for not doing anything is that it's only 10 light, and they were like, oh, by the way, we got to fix that. That's a bug.
Yeah, you get it at full light.
We were like, oh, you know what? It's fine. You don't have to play the game, but it's 10 light so that you can see what it's like. And they were like, gonna fix the bug where it's only coming at 10 light. And we were like, what?
I was like, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me at this point, because if you want to show that you were in Trials of the Nine, like you can go play and get the armor. And like, I do wish for more exclusive stuff, and I do have somewhat of a problem with it, but I'm not bitter about it or anything. From the looks they're giving me, I don't think anybody else is bitter about it either. Then Masterwork Exotics is something on the list, which that's interesting.
I don't like it.
I don't really have any thoughts about it. I'm just like, okay, that's
already
cool.
exotic.
That's what's supposed to set them apart already. I don't want Masterworks Exotics.
I would rather the exotics have their exotic perk be more substantial than,
and they said that earlier, right? And under the exotic changes, like they'll feel more powerful. Okay. So maybe they're one and the same.
As it stands right now, let's see. The unique exotic is the Sunshot, the Colony.
Warcliffe Coil feels pretty exotic.
Coil's neat. Okay, the Coil's neat, but like, okay, if you look at everything else, like, okay, side armor that makes you invisible.
No, I think there's a lot of blah ones, but I think there's a few good ones. Ones you mentioned.
I think there's good ones.
I think Merciless is good.
Merciless is good, but like, I mean, like, they should feel exotic. Like, Sunshot feels exotic. The Coil feels exotic. The Colony feels exotic. Like, they're fun. They have that nature of it that's like, you know, it's like, let's not just be so serious and keep it like plain, but it's like, okay, Galhorn is an example. It's like, it's ridiculous freaking rocket launcher, but it was awesome to fire it. It felt different because no other rocket launcher was like it.
You don't think Warcliffe Coil is like that?
No, I'm saying like it's one of the ones that sticks out, but compared to all the other weapons, like okay, here's a pulse rifle. I'm like, how is this different from this other pulse rifle? It just looks different, sounds different, but it doesn't do anything really different.
Fires like 5 bursts.
They never stick out as much. Things. Like that's neat, but I'm like, okay, let's look at Outbreak Prime. It's a pulse rifle, but what was the added effect? You had little nanomites that could chase your enemies or your PvP enemies and do some extra damage. That was the neat thing about that gun. It was a pulse rifle, but an added thing, not just like, it's a pulse rifle that can fire a 6-shot. It's like, okay, well, could it be a pulse fire that fires a 6-shot that does a DOT or does a tracking for the rest of my teammates to see on the map? You know, something.
Yeah, I was just saying, for like Vigilance Wing, what would you think about if all of the first 4 are crits, the 5th one does bonus damage or marks the enemy? Do you know what I mean? Like
something neat, like just something that makes it stick apart. It's like, oh, that person's using this weapon. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because Vigilance Wing, like, it's cool, but it's funny. Like, oh, normal pulse, 3 burst, Hake 4, Vigilance Wing. It's exotic because it's 5, but like, so is like, are all Hakes like half exotic? Like, are they mixed? Like, do you know what I mean?
I've never thought about that. Yeah, I see what y'all are saying. I do think that there is some unique stuff, but I could see how they could improve too. And I think that's one of the things on their list. They want to make things more exotic, and hopefully, you know, Masterwork exotic isn't the only thing. Hopefully, they. And I know and you have to know that they're working on improving exotics in other ways. The other thing is Pinnacle weapon and gear improvements, which I guess means like when you get to the top, like of you've masterworked your weapon, like doing more than that. Do you think that's what it means?
I don't know. That one I don't understand.
More clarity to come, I think.
Yeah, I would think this just means like in-game weapons and gear stuff, basically, like improving, like once you have everything, you're at the pinnacle of. This is my interpretation. You're at the pinnacle of having 5 better devils. What do you do with the next? Like, that kind of question. Like, basically, what's next after Masterworks is how I read this.
And my weapon evolved to its next form.
Yeah, I want an Ivysaur, not a Bulbasaur.
Well, no, think about it this way. What, like, okay, like D1, you had the Ice Luna and you had the Hawk. What if after having used the Ice Luna for so much, like it could eventually turn into Hawk Moon on its own, that kind of thing.
Like
make me use the weapon so I can get the next one.
What the hell was that gun? It ended up being Necrochasm, but what was the first one called?
Oh yeah,
Armor.
No,
Husk of the Pit or something.
Husk of the Pit turned into Eidolon Ally, turned into Necrochasm.
Yeah, that stuff's interesting, but I like the way they're going right now even more, which is that take the weapon you love, make it something you love and is special to you in the Masterworks version. And I want them to take that idea further, because I'd rather keep the thing that I love rather than turning it into something else. And just keep making it more and more special, whether that's a shader or ornament or Masterworks and whatever they think of next. I just want there to be more stuff, so
whatever that item was that made the last part of that gun that we were just talking about, I never got that. Yeah, I never got that thing to drop, like, ever. I did Crota probably more than any raid, and I never got one.
Oh my gosh, Necrochasm was so fun too.
Don't do that again, please.
Oh man. So we already talked about Trials of the Nine improvements.
Yep.
There's shader dismantling is another thing.
Dismantle the stack.
So funny. That is.
Can't that be tomorrow? I just feel like letting us dismantle the whole stack. I don't know, like, why we need do other things, please. But that one.
Yeah.
Improving all exotics. Dismantle a stack of shaders.
The future of guided games, which is interesting because you talked about that earlier, Triton, about how like you did it for a little while, but it's like some stuff is just too hard and you don't want to do it, and there's no incentive to do it. Really, is the main thing to me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess other than like goodwill currently and one emblem, there wouldn't.
Yeah, but you see a lot of goodwill right now. The Destiny community. I'm just kidding. There's plenty of people.
I don't know. That was supposed to be a big thing. We've talked about that a lot. Like I think when D2 first dropped, what that would turn out to be, and here we are needing improvements.
Okay, last few things here. Address solo versus fire team matching, which is a big thing. It is really hard to go in solo right now, and I would like to see matchmaking not match me against a full team if I'm going in solo.
Quit your bitching.
I'm just speaking for other people here, Hove. I don't mind it, really. I'm being a boat bear. What can I say? So now that's pretty much all of the developer blog that we got. There's a little bit in the TWAB. Basically, all it is, hey, faction rally's coming. We've seen these screenshots before. We've seen these auto rifles before. I don't think I really have anything to say about it. Do y'all have anything to say about faction rally coming?
The one thing I do think is cool, I don't know if this was a conscious thing or if it was just by chance, but I like that they're all auto rifles this time.
Yeah, I like that too.
Because it's not like, auto rifles are good or bad. Doesn't matter. In this case, auto rifles are good, but it wasn't like, well, obviously I don't want, so-and-so to win because they have a...
It was like the sword the one time.
Yeah, something stupid that nobody wants to use. If it's 3 auto rifles or 3 sidearms or 3... I think that's a little better.
And they also like 3 different archetypes. Like the view of them, I know like the last one looked like that sand wasp one you get as a rare. So it looks like 2... I mean, a host point, auto rifles are cool, but it's also like a choice within. Like, do you want, the fast firing one? There's like a medium rate fire, so I think there's like some variety in it too. So I thought that was cool.
I think the armor all looks badass too, by the way.
Yeah, no.
Except Dead Orbit, because they still suck.
I'm excited for new shaders. I said we've all seen this stuff before. What I meant was not from this is season 2 stuff. We haven't had this stuff before. I'm saying we've seen these images because it was supposed to come and then they got delayed. So I'm excited, to see what we see Dead Orbit ship and Ghost kind of displayed here, but we don't know what the, stuff for the other faction looks like. And I'm excited to see all of that and go for it. Yeah. And all my characters, because you can do that. That's the thing. And I think that's about it. Before we wrap up the conversation completely, I just wanted to hit, just a general, we've read through all the notes. How are you guys feeling after reading all of this? We've heard a lot of this is going to be what changes the community, this post, and other people saying, nah, forget about it. So what do you guys feel after reading all the notes?
I think it's a decent plan. I think, like all plans are only as good as the people that carry them through. So we'll see. I'm excited. I'm optimistic, but I'm happy they were transparent. But I guess until we play them, I kind of I'm going to reserve my opinion.
I'm going last.
Have you as just the trajectory of where we're going? It's a good foundation of where we're going. So if everyone's like, it's going to make or break, it's like, no, the execution is going to be the make it or break it. This is them telling us what is in store and what we're going to get. So it's like, just take it for what that's going to be.
For me, since Hope's going last, I feel pretty good about everything. There's some things, like small things, very small things like Rumble that I thought might come sooner. But for no reason, I know it's hard to implement these things when it's built for a certain amount of space, but there's things that surprised me that I didn't expect to come back, like 6v6. I genuinely didn't expect to see that on the list. And I'm excited to see ranked and
ranked social rank
social rank coming in the spring. And because that's something that's kind of newly been added to the list. We knew private matches were coming, but not ranked up until December, right before December. And so I'm excited to see those things heading for a spring update. The changes to the in-game, the biggest thing, and I think will be game changing, the fact that they're wanting to speed up the pace of quick play. These are all things that I want from the game, and I think will make it a game that I want to keep coming back to. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and that's my thoughts. Hoph, what do you think?
So there's nothing on there I don't think that on its own really gets me all that excited.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of that on there together, could make a big difference. It's almost all positive stuff. Nothing that sticks out to me as bad, but
yeah,
other
than better clan rewards, maybe.
Yeah,
potentially.
Well, depends on what they mean by better. Addition by subtraction, maybe. I'm hopeful. I think it's like they've said. We realize now we need to make changes. We need to be transparent. So I'm really hoping that these things all together, make a big difference. But like you guys said, it comes down to the execution. I mean, it's going to depend on a lot. Depends on how well they're done. Depends on when they come. So I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm enjoying the game as it is now.
Yeah.
It's not what we all thought and hoped it would be, and there's a lot of problems, and hopefully this fixes a lot of them, but it's not a make or break for me. So we shall see.
Nice. There's a few, I know we're running really long here, but there is a few community questions that I wanted to get to just real quick, because one of them has to do with what we're talking about now. What has Wilson 309 Rezo asked, what has you most excited from the news in the TWAB? So many great things. He gave away his hand there, but what do you guys? And I'll clarify, not just the TWAB, because obviously this is in the development blog. Right. But what has you guys the most excited out of all of these things?
Seeing my fire team on the map.
I should have known.
There's no laughing. This is serious business.
For me, there's two things. I think that I know it says most, but I think the overall more transparency and the way that they're doing things now that Christopher Barrett said up front is probably one of the most exciting things, or else we wouldn't have any of the rest of this info. But if I want to get specific about a specific thing, God, God, man, it's hard to say. I think Rumble is the most exciting for me. But there's just so many things that affect other things. And that's what's so interesting to read about this blog is like, because like if they change how quick play feels, like making it faster, how will that affect the way Rumble is implemented when it is, you know? So there's a lot of things that trickle down, but Rumble's like my all-time favorite game mode. And so I'm very excited to have it back.
I'm excited for a lot of things. Like it's like some people were like, there's not one thing that blows you away. Like there shouldn't be one thing that blows you away because like, let's look at, you know, Masterworks for this past season. Like it was one small thing. Like it's like, yeah, Masterwork weapons, but it really redefined how a lot of us are playing the game right now with doing strikes, PvP, trying to get those tokens, like, you know, going EDZ, going to try and get more Masterwork weapons so we can actually get those things. So we're playing the things that we normally weren't playing. And there's a lot of really good stuff that it's really hard to pinpoint that I'm excited for everything. But what makes me happy is the 6v6 and the open communication that we're supposed to be getting. Like, not gonna say that we are getting it right now because, you know, they still have to end up on their end living up to that. But if they keep up the open communication, that's what makes me really happy, because if we have that dialogue going, you know, like let's say in a couple of months, like once we have this ball rolling, it's like, hey, we have this issue. They're listening like, okay, we acknowledge that. Cool. Instead of like, hey, we have this issue. 3 months later, hey, about that issue. You know, it's like, that's the thing that gets me more excited.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Definitely sixes for me. As Hove mentioned, it's something I talked about a lot. So getting that back for me, same as Fury, would be super exciting. And obviously the transparency is important. I know we've talked about this like way long ago. It's come up, I think, one other time. But I'll tell you that, like, really that Domino's conversation, hey, we screwed up, here's how we'll make it right. That's really led to, first of all, it's led to like $5.99 pizzas every single night now. And the restaurants are nicer.
The problem is Domino's still makes shitty pizza.
Okay,
no, Domino's pizza is amazing.
Domino's pizza is not amazing.
It's so good. What's wrong with you guys?
Good.
Are you serious? Have you ever had good pizza?
Oh man, it's
like
so
a Domino's
good.
pizza.
It's a good trashy pizza. How can you deny that?
A good trashy pizza? That's what Little Caesars is for. I just feel like...
Oh, no. Little Caesars is terrible trashy
It's not even pizza, okay?
Neither one of them
are.
Like
scalding hot.
New Domino's pizza is just trash with more garlic
with
on
garlic
the crust.
bread ring. Yeah, it's a garlic bread ring of trash.
Yeah.
It's not good, Lego.
Yeah.
Their strategy, though, is good. Their marketing department's good, but I would think, like, execution, the pizza sucks.
Bad news. God, I can't.
All right. Well, between technical problems and Domino's talk, I think it's time to end this episode of REZOcast.
There's a really good question I'd like to ask on there.
Okay. Well, wait, no. I don't know which question he's going to read here. I'm nervous now.
Why would you be
you're
nervous?
Twitter boss. So...
I am the Twitter boss. I let you go for one question.
Go ahead.
Matt Grundy wants to know, what's your favorite breakfast pastry?
I like how there's two questions from Matt Grundy, and he picks the one that says less serious question and reads that
I feel
one.
like you were like, we've been on for a while. I don't think we ask that one again next week, Matt. It's just been a long one with my power going out and everything. It's a good question. We're just kind of, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So less serious question. Let's hit it.
Questions, Matt.
Go ahead, Hove.
I don't want to go first. I'm asking you.
Favorite breakfast pastry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the chocolate croissant. It's just all around, just one you can go for all the time. Why are y'all making disgusting faces?
Do you get it from Domino's?
No. I'm just saying wherever you go, you can get a good croissant. That's all I'm saying.
Not at Domino's.
Yeah, not everywhere.
Why am I going to Domino's for breakfast?
Because you said wherever you go.
Actually, they were thinking about introducing breakfast.
Pizza is actually excellent breakfast, Lego.
Dessert Domino's, the icing one or the cinnamon one is great.
Actually, you know what is good at Domino's? Did you ever have their molten lava chocolate cake thing?
No.
That's actually really good.
Their chicken kickers used to be amazing.
So y'all answer the question.
Okay, cherry Pop-Tart. Sorry, cherry Pop-Tart. I'm just going to go basic.
You're such a basic bitch.
I don't know. I'm sorry myself with that. Yeah, cherry Pop-Tart. That's it. Breakfast pastry.
Fury?
Pizza.
That's not a pastry. Even if you can eat it for breakfast, it is not a pastry.
Cold and it's breakfast.
But it's not a pastry. Favorite breakfast pastry.
Everything. Oh, okay. I I don't really go for pastries. I go more for like the everything and cheese bagel with cream cheese. That's my kind of.
Are bagels pastries? Does that count?
No.
Nope,
well, no,
doesn't count.
They can be turned into a pastry. I
don't
believe.
really
I don't think like
it doesn't matter.
There's not one I really gravitate towards. I'm like, sorry.
Well, you're off the podcast.
Okay, Hove.
Damn.
Damn.
I accept his pizza answer, Hove.
It's not a pastry.
You have to submit an answer, Hove. I don't care what it is.
There's only one right question, and I'm almost agreeing with Wendler, which makes me want to throw up. But cinnamon rolls, like fresh baked cinnamon rolls.
I almost said there's a place down the street that makes like these.
Just right out of the can, man.
They're vegan, gluten-free cinnamon rolls, which is normally terrible, like most of that stuff. But that is made with substitute things, but it's so good. I swear. It's the best cinnamon roll ever.
Is that Tefty Teft?
No, Tefty Teft did not.
Oh no, you're
it,
Lego.
but...
Oh, I'm sorry.
He would give this answer, but I'm telling you, it's just good, and he would love it if he came and visited my area. I would tell him, "Hey, go here."
I had to go find a gluten-free beer at the bar in Tampa.
To
buy Tefty a beer.
Hove's camera keeps unfocusing on him. I think it's trying to tell us we need to stop this. So. Thanks for hanging out for REZOcast episode 68 with HisFury. We've had a good episode dissecting this huge blog. This has been Lego, aka Legoli Flash. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, pay attention, Hove. There's a podcast.
I was looking to see who we.
Where can they find you?
Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Hove76, HOV76. Come talk to me. Nobody comes to talk to me. I say this every week, but somebody come talk to me. No. Otherwise, I have to talk to Lego and Triton every week, and that's just...
It's great.
It's actually not true when you only choose to invite one of us to play with you, even though the other one doesn't have that.
Do you want to go eat after this?
No, I can't tonight.
Yeah,
you always ask me on nights that I can't.
It's the same night every week.
Well, no, but it's not like really. I mean, it is it's Thursday, but it's just like a different situation. Whatever. I hate Hove. Okay, Hove's the worst. You can find me all those same places, all under Triton, please. One word, please, being PLZ. How about you, Fury?
This is Fury. You can find me at Twitter and Twitch at HisFury.
Nice. Well, thank y'all for joining us for REZOcast episode 68. You can also find us on Twitter at REZOcast. You can find Team Resolute on Twitter at Team REZOcast or TeamREZOcast.com. I said Team REZOcast. Team REZOcast is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, that's it for this week. Until next time, guys. GG.
GG. GG.